Hello everyone, I'm Karen and this is Love My Addi. So today we are going to work with the dreaded Addi Egg. And the reason I say dreaded is I've seen so many comments of people saying how horrible it is and they want to get rid of it, it doesn't work properly. Well, unfortunately, it does not work the same as your other two Addis. The basic things that are the same is your cast on and your cast off and the fact that you crank. So I'm going to give you a few don'ts as we go along and of course some do's. So the things that you want to have, of course, is your egg, the lid, a needle. Okay. I use this here hook that I got with my Addi king size, your yarn, and the weight. So let's get started. Now what I normally do here, and of course some scissors. What I normally do here for casting on, because you have this little tiny hole to put your yarn through, okay, I usually double my yarn and twist it. Now sometimes it will be nice and just slip right through, and other times I swear it laughs at me saying, haha, I'm not working for you today. And look at that. It's working for me today. Yay! So now once you have this threaded, you want to put this down through the hole. Now, here's your first major don't. When I first got this, and I've only had my Addi Egg for about a week, okay? When I first got it, because the yarn wasn't showing, like coming out the bottom here, and I don't know if you can see it or not, but it's way up at the top, I stuck my finger in here to push the yarn down. No, my finger got stuck. So anyways, what I do now is I grab this tool that I got with my Addi King and I push the yarn down. And if I don't see it, then I pull it with the hook, because I'm not getting my finger stuck again. That was not pleasant. So once you've got the yarn through, okay, you want to make a slip stitch, okay, and attach your weight to it. And then you want to pull up on this yarn until the weight reaches the bottom of the hole. Now, right now I'm going to show you, I'm going to show you this here. You have to make sure that the weight is in between the legs because it won't fit in between there. So get it right in between. Okay, and pull up so that it is literally right in the hole. And now you can start your cast on. And you do it the same way as you do with your other Addis. You know, you do one, miss one. The only difference here is you have to pull your yarn around the needle that you're not doing. And sorry, I keep hitting my thing here. Okay, sometimes it's easy and sometimes it's difficult. Once you get to the last one, then you can actually remove the tension because your weight will stay. See, I'm not holding it now and the weight is still right up at the hole. So that's a bonus. So now for your second don't, you don't want to be cranking this without the top on. When you do that, you wind up with multiple loops piled up instead of going down the Addi like it should. Because, of course, you want your I-cord to be, well, perfect, right? Now, this is 26 inches that I did yesterday, and it took me, maybe about 10 minutes, if that. Here's a little sample one for you. And this one only took a couple of minutes. So what you always want to do, don't do any more cranking once you've got the cast on done until after you get your egg on and secured. You want to hear it snap. Okay. Now the other don't is right now I have my Addi sitting on the table. Okay. It can't stay there for long because you don't want the weight ever touching something, because then it's not putting the proper tension to draw the I cord down. So there, I repositioned it. And now let's start cranking. So let's see here. Of course, with every machine, it gets a little bit tough at first, but that's okay. And I'm not sure if you noticed this or not, but I've got my yarn bunched up here. You always want to make sure that it doesn't bunch up. Unfortunately, this yarn is curling. And I'm not sure why, because it was never used in a project. So it's just being nasty today. So anyways, whoops. You just keep going. Now, once you get going and everything is good, keep an eye on your needles to make sure that there is no bunching, which there should not be at all. And never put tension on the yarn, because the weight that is hanging in between the legs is pretty much doing the tension for you. Okay, so you just keep going here. Now, when the weight gets to be like fairly long here, you want to, you're going to have to adjust to make sure that it's not touching anything until you get to the point where you can actually move the weight up. Okay, now I generally check every few rounds to see if the I cord is poking out the bottom so that I can move the weight up. So, okay, let's see here. No, it's just starting to show through, so not quite enough yet. Okay, now I have to change my sitting position because I don't want the weight touching anything. So let's keep cranking. And it's going nice and smooth now. Now, the one thing I really like about the Addi Egg is I can take this with me. I can go to the doctor's office and sit there and crank out an I cord because it's so compact. It's very portable. So you don't have to worry about, missing time with your machine when you have to run to the doctor's office. You can just sit there if you're doing a project with your Addi Egg and start cranking things out. So now I have definitely a long enough cord here. So what I do is I take the weight off from the bottom and go between the legs, and I hook this on. That way it's not as difficult for keeping the weight off of the table, etc. And then just start cranking again. And you just keep doing that, moving the weight up until you're done with your project. So I'm not sure if this has helped. I'm just trying to think here if there's anything else that I've forgotten to tell you. Oh, let's do a cast off. Okay, so when you're ready to cast off, I remove the weight, and I find that there's always this little hump in there. Well, I lay my egg down and I just give it a little pull and make the hump go away. So let's do our cast off. Now, it's basically the same as doing a cast off on your King or your Pro. Okay, you cut your yarn. Now, because, let me reposition here. Now, because you've got your yarn through this hole, okay, you have to actually pull it out. Okay, and then you do your crank as always. Okay, now, of course, you never do the one that has the yarn on it first. Never, never, never. Okay, thread your needle. And you start taking off. Now here, if you want, you can always take off the handle to get it out of your way, but It doesn't bother me, not in the least bit. So okay, and I see the first one that I did didn't come off. That's unusual. Okay. I'm sorry about that. Oh, goodness gracious. And this is going to be miserable. There we go. Okay. Remove your needle and you just pull it out from underneath. And there you go. There's your cord. And you give it a little tug to stretch it out. It's perfect. So let's go over those little don'ts again. Jeepers. Don't stick your finger through the hole, especially too far, because you will get it stuck if you have fingers like mine. Always have the weight in between the legs when you start, okay? And don't allow it to touch the table as your project is getting longer. And always, always crank with the top on. Don't try and do the tension yourself because you wind up binding up the machine. So I hope this has helped you out. You have a great day.